What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Nacho Wrestling, and in today's video we are going to be taking a look at the results of AEW Worlds End, giving my match ratings, of course in the tortilla chip format as we always do. And with that out of the way, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell to stay up to date on all things Nacho Wrestling. And if this is your first time watching a Nacho Wrestling video, why don't you consider hitting the subscribe button? I'm trying to reach 500 subscribers. Your help would be greatly appreciated. The show kicked off with Kyle Fletcher taking on Will Ospreay in the semifinals of the Continental Classic. This match was great, absolutely stellar way to kick off the show in my opinion. You could have kicked it off with Okada and Ricochet, which is sort of a mismatch of styles, but I think having these two go at it, which probably is the match with a bit more story built into it, I think was a really great way to go, especially with the post-match angle that they did in the semifinal match for Ricochet and Swerve. I think that's something that probably should have been saved for later rather than immediately after. So yeah, and it was interesting, or not interesting, but it was cool to see Will Ospreay get some color, take some blood, whether it was a blood pack or whether he was actually blading. I think it was real because he did bleed again in the Okada match later on. So yeah, very cool to see some blood. Always good to see it in matches that you don't think you're gonna see it in, and then when it happens you're like, oh wow. So that was cool to see, and that definitely enhanced the match for me, at least. All that being said, 4 tortilla chips for that. As I just said, they did Okada and Ricochet next after that, and Okada and Ricochet definitely is a mismatch of styles, as I previously said, but I think one thing that they were able to do is kind of meld those styles together pretty well. The strong style with the high flying, but he was something of a, and he being Okada here, he was wrestling sort of held back in the Ricochet match, and that may be because he was having to wrestle 2 matches in the night, and he knew he was wrestling 2 matches in a night. That being said, I do think the match was good. Not as good as the opening match, however, still pretty solid. 3.5 tortilla chips. Alright, from here on out, I'm just going to go in a random order from whatever match I see on my Google Doc sheet here in front of me. Next up, we have Mariah May versus Thunder Rosa in a Tijuana street fight match. Again, I still don't know what a Tijuana street fight match is, and don't lie, you don't either. Not shocking at all, Mariah got the win, and of course, she won clean. She didn't really do anything cheating or anything like that, because you can't really cheat in a street fight. Try to say that 10 times fast. Cheat in a street fight, cheat in a street fight, cheat in a street fight, cheat in a street fight. Alright, yeah, never mind, it's not that hard. As I mentioned in my predictions video for World's End, I don't think Mariah May is dropping this belt anytime soon. I believe she's going to drop it at AEW Grand Slam in Australia to Toni Storm. And with that being said, this match gets a solid 3 tortilla chips from me. Next up, we have for the international title, Takeshita defending his belt against Will Hobbs. This was great. Takeshita's awesome. Put him in there with a big meaty guy like Hobbs, and especially someone who could move like Hobbs. They're just gonna work. I don't think it was perfect. I'm not giving it 5 tortilla chips. There is one match on this card that I do believe was just downright perfect, and it's not the match that you're thinking of, but we're not talking about that match right now. We're talking about Will Hobbs Takeshita. Really good. Glad that Don Callis family was able to at least walk away with 1 win on the night. That's always good to see, because then Don Callis has something to talk about for the next 3 weeks. So yeah, 4 tortilla chips for me on that one. Next up, we have the AEW Dynamite Diamond Ring match with MJF defeating Adam Cole. This one I don't really know how to feel about, especially with the post-match angle. Glad I called that right. Glad that the Undisputed Kingdom / Undisputed Era / whatever they are finally reconciled and all hugged and are all one big happy family now. Very glad to see that. That being said, I don't understand the point of MJF winning and then getting beat down by Undisputed Kingdom to prolong the feud. or getting chased away, whatever happened. Honestly, I can't remember what happened because I'm so disinterested by this feud at this point. I was disinterested by it when it was first broached because Adam Cole was injured and it just didn't make sense, and they were trying to make Adam Cole menacing when he was sitting behind chairs and doing vignettes from some sort of storage closet or his closet in his apartment. You know, it wasn't interesting to me at all, and I think something that could be done to fix that is completely ignoring the story going forward and just acting like it never happened. They've done it before in AEW. They've done it several times. They can do it again. Next up, we have the penultimate match on the card. It was the TBS title. We had Mercedes Moné defending against Chris Statlander, and sadly, for all you Chris Statlander heads out there, she lost. Mercedes got the win, but wow, what a sequel. These two women really know how to go. They just have instant chemistry in the ring together. And for the first match in AEW's 5-year history, first women's match in AEW's 5-year history to go over 20 minutes, I think it's rightfully deserved for both women. Mercedes has done a lot to try and bring some attention and some positive light, not only to all of AEW, but AEW women's division, and Statlander has been a solid piece for the women's division ever since she was brought in. She was a solid TBS champion, and hopefully they run it back for a third time, and maybe Statlander finally gets the win there. This match was perfect for me. 5 tortilla chips. Next up, we have our main event. It is the AEW World Title Fatal 4-Way with Jon Moxley defending against Hangman Adam Page, Jay White, and Orange Cassidy. Jon Moxley got the win, and he pinned Jay White. Go ahead and play the clip of me saying that he's going to pin Jay White. I don't know. I'm going to say that Mox is more than likely going to pin Jay White. Yeah. Right. I called it. This match was essentially a fatal 4-way so that all of the Death Riders could get involved, and it was essentially a handicap match because they would take out one guy and then focus on the other two, or they would take out 2 guys and focus on one. So it really just wasn't that interesting. Edge returned afterwards. Adam Copeland returned after the match and sort of insinuated that he's next, he's in line, and he's going to be the one to save AEW, which that's pretty fucking redundant. A guy who's been here for less than a year and spent most of his time so far out on the shelf is going to save the company? No. The post-match angle does help a little bit, but that's not necessarily part of the match, so I can't really see myself giving this more than 3 stars, but I also can't. I don't do stars. I do tortilla chips. I don't do stars. Stars are for those other guys. I can't see myself giving this match more than 3 tortilla chips, but I also can't see myself giving it anything below 2.5, just because all the guys were really good and they didn't really do anything wrong as far as I could tell. So I'm going to go in the middle, and I'm going to say 2.75 tortilla chips, or 2 3/4 for all my fraction nerds out there. Overall, the show is pretty solid. Main event did not really do justice for the show, which sucks because you want to make sure that the people are going home happy, and they're going to go home happy if the main event is good because they remember what happens at the beginning and at the end, i.e. me not remembering what happened in MJF versus Adam Cole. That being said, the overall grade for Worlds End AEW 2024 is going to be a 3.6. You could say that this is okay. You could say that this is not okay. Not the best way to end your pay-per-view cycle for the year. The Death Rider story needs to finish sooner rather than later. I think I mentioned that in my predictions video as well. But yeah, AEW is going into 2025 with a lot less momentum than I think they wanted to. I think it's illogical to say that they're going into 2025 with a lot of momentum. a lot of disinterest in the company right now. And I think a lot of that stems down from the main event scene and trickles down to the rest of the card. If nobody gives a shit about what you're doing with your world title, then nobody's going to give a shit about what you're doing with your 6 mid-card titles. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell to stay up to date on all things Nacho Wrestling. And if this is your first time watching a Nacho Wrestling video and you're still here, you better hit that subscribe button, goddammit, because you're still here and this video is like 10 minutes long. Let me know what you guys thought about AEW Worlds End down in the comments below. Like I said, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.